Good Monday morning. It's the main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. I was going to hold that until the picture came up, folks, there as well. And if you haven't noticed, it's only your humble host here today as well. Yeah, Dale Hellestrae, 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys, folks. Drafted by the Bills, got to the AFC Championship game his last year in Buffalo. Then he went to the Raiders and got injured, but played at SMU, winningest team in college football while he was there as well. Of course, Saguaro Pride, we call him the home of the Hellies over there instead of the Sabercats over at Saguaro High School as well. Down tough times for them right now out there. Well, if you notice, he's not here today, folks, and that's all right. He'll be back hopefully tomorrow. He informed me over the weekend, just having a family deal that he's having to deal with. Nothing bad. Everything's fine. Everything's good. He just asked if he could take today off. And, of course, because I'm a nice boss, I said, absolutely, Dale. Take the day off. It's busy. We got IFL talking we got to talk about, right, with the Rattlers winning yesterday. We've got NFL. We got the depth chart for the Cardinals. We got a Hall of Fame game talking Thursday. You got Larry being enshrined into the Hall of Fame this weekend as well. That's okay. We got plenty to talk about here. Major League Baseball trade deadline today, 3 p.m. Phoenix time, where we're based out of. Of course, 6 p.m. Eastern as well out there. You know, Diamondbacks talk. This perception of this team has changed. We'll talk about that coming up as well with them here. And I'll just tell you right now, I'm not expecting any big moves. We're seeing all the names that were assigned to the Diamondbacks. We're seeing them being moved, like Ariz from the Giants going to the Phillies here this morning. So I have a feeling what we talked about last week. I have a feeling the Diamondbacks are going to say pat. Now, I will say this. The price for these players has certainly come down. It's not as expensive as once thought it was going to be because of the limitation of players available. The price has come down on a lot of these people out there. We'll see what the Diamondbacks do. We'll keep our eyes on it, of course, during the season as well. Phillies also getting relief from the Mets as well. So Phillies starting to make their moves out there. I mean, even the White Sox picking up a couple pitchers, a top-level starter for them. Then they go out and get the reliever, Brozoban, there from the Mets as well. So White Sox making some moves, folks. Yes, your White Sox, who were terrible last year. We'll keep you updated on that. Eligibility update here in the NCAA from Friday. Friday, they allowed the class of 2022 to have another season in the college world of things. Then there's some clarity coming up afterwards. We'll talk about that coming up as well. And then you could sit back and go, the Mercury made a trade for a 5-time All-Star in the WNBA. Huge news. There's some question marks around it that I'm assuming the Mercury have solved before this trade went down, but we'll talk about Kelsey Plum coming to the Mercury as well for the rest of this season. Now, she's been injured. There's only, 14 games or something left in the season. So it's not like there's a ton of time left here this year. She's on an expiring contract, so we'll talk about that coming up here this morning as well. So I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to get that big bat that everybody wants them to get. But we'll keep our eyes on that coming up as well. But Major League Baseball trade deadline coming our way here as well. But look, we got Hall of Fame. We got an official NFL game. I know it's preseason. I get it. But it's the Hall of Fame game Thursday night. So we officially have NFL football back coming our way this week. Yeah. Woo. Get good feelings here, folks, as we're getting closer to that. I was playing NCAA football, NCAA 27 last night. Got it over the weekend, and I was playing it last night. I'm 1-1 against Ethan officially now. I beat him. I was playing Arizona State first. Arizona State. I was playing. He was Arizona. I beat him in that game, and then I had the lead. It's Notre Dame, and he was Clemson. I had the lead. I let him come back in it and win with the last-second touchdown in that game as well. So I'm 1-1 against Ethan. For those of you that follow Twitter, he brags about that stuff a lot. He doesn't brag when I win, but he goes and he's in my ear going, "I haven't posted anything about it." Oh, okay, so I'm the one letting it out. That's good. 1-1, folks. what I'm looking at. 1-1 out there. Don't forget, folks, follow us right now. We're live on YouTube, TME Media AZ. Join the YouTube chat. Text us, 623-252-6670. And, folks, I love the persistence of it, but it's not as frequent as it used to be. Yes, I just got the text. Last time we got the text was last Thursday or Wednesday. And now I think it might be becoming a joke. We got the text on the text line, 623-252-6670. Same person saying, Tori's got to go. Well, this time, not as many O's on the back end of it as well. Diamondbacks taking 2 or 3. So you can hit us up on the text line at TME Sports Show as well on X. You can hit us up there, whether you're catching us live here on YouTube or, of course, on demand later in the day. And our multiple entities that you can catch us on demand, including YouTube, Rumble, out there as well. We appreciate you joining us and having some fun, however you listen. Or, of course, if you're listening to our free podcast system as wow. Excuse me, folks. My computer decided to fire up there. I was trying to shut it down before it did it, and it didn't get to it in time. But, hey, it's Monday morning. We're having some fun here. Big weekend. SummerSlam, of course, happened this weekend. I saw several of you, or a bunch of people out there that follow me, watching SummerSlam and talking about it as well. I had the rare Rattlers game on yesterday with SummerSlam at the same time going on. The Rattlers game was on the computer. SummerSlam was on the TV. Whew, that was a busy day yesterday as well. Robert says, Dalehausen partied too hard last night after SummerSlam? Well, that's the joke, right? That I was going to bring up. Here's the truth about why Dale's not here today. Here's the truth. He's embarrassed that he was probably watching SummerSlam over the weekend. He doesn't want to admit it. He knows I'm going to bring it up. He knows he's going to slip and get all having fun with that. I call him Dalehausen, the Danhausen match, which was absolutely great. I love to see that comedy bit. I hated him at first, but now that comedy bit's back into WWE again, which just shows they don't take themselves too seriously. Now, I thought Sunday's card was better than Saturday's card was better than Sunday's in terms of matches you wanted to watch going into the event. I had fun both nights. Now, you always have a dud match. My complaint about Saturday, though, most of the matches were like 11, 12 minutes. Like you always have one or two that are that short, but they're all that short. I can't stand Gunther. Those of you that watch this show know I can't stand Gunther. I told Ethan. Ethan's like, Gunther's up, and I said, great. So we're gonna watch him for 10 minutes, and then he's gonna end up submitting the other guy, choking him out. So I'm not even watching it with Ethan. All Ethan will hear down the hallway is me go, told you. I think I even texted him because Gunther choked him out. Oh, I can't. Ooh, Kevin Owens returned yesterday. So, I mean, just overall good weekend. Better experience. Now, granted, I wasn't there. It was in Minneapolis. Better experience than it was watching WrestleMania back when we went to that one in Las Vegas earlier this year. So, as well. Ethan says the computer to run the show got cursed by Dalehausen. We'll see. I'll check in with Dale here in a little bit. Everybody's fine. Everything's good. Just so nobody. Because I know sometimes when people are off unexpectedly, people go, hope they're okay, and reach out. Everybody's fine. Everything's good. He just ended up needing the day off. We'll hopefully see him back tomorrow. I'll check with him. I'll check in with him after the show today and make sure everything's been caught up and fixed and everything to get back in here as well. But so that's what's happening from his perspective here as well. Robert says to the Tori's got to go person, meaning on our text line, he says, keep it up. He does need to move along. Well, there's the problem, Robert, because I was thinking about this over the weekend. Watching the Diamondbacks come back on Friday and Saturday and win those games. Then, of course, yesterday. First of all, we're going to talk about unwritten rules of baseball today. I can't stand them. It's not the unwritten rules I can't stand. Like, have unwritten rules, fine. It's the reaction to the unwritten rules. Like, okay, let me take my glasses off for this part. We'll talk about this more in depth. Let me get prepared because I'm going to have errors slung at me. I'm tired. I am sick and tired of the unwritten rule being broken, supposedly. And teams going out there and acting like tough guys. got coaches, O'Dur and Voigt, just out there pointing fingers and yelling and screaming. Nothing's going to happen. Go sit your fat butts back in the dugout. Shut up. Unless you're going to do something about the unwritten rule being broken. All right. That was my PSA for today. Now I got to get my glasses back on and get serious. And get non-serious. Seriously. Why do you come out? Why do you come out and act tough and you don't do anything? You're just going to yell and scream? Nobody cares if you yell and scream. Stupid. Unwritten rules reactions to, these are grown men acting like 2-year-old babies. It's stupid. We're going to break that down coming up as well. Obviously, I'm giving you my opinion ahead of time, but we'll break it down and see as well. John Boy gave us the video to do that as well. Then, man, good thing you brought this up because I completely forgot about it. We went, folks, we did something we don't do too often. Now, we go to the movies all the time. As a family, me and Autumn, Ethan, Ireland tags along as well for certain movies. And we go to movies all the time. And we usually try to catch a Sunday morning early show for 2 reasons. Especially this time of year. Once football starts, that's out. But we try to catch an early Sunday showing. 10 o'clock for a showing, something like that. Just get it over with. Especially these 2.5-hour long movies. Yesterday, folks, 8:30 a.m. movie yesterday morning. Woo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo! Give you a whole day afterwards. It was an amazing thing to have. A little too early for a movie, though. Like popcorn for breakfast, red vines for breakfast in my case, and stuff like that. But Ann's asking, how was Spider-Man? Yeah. Keep in mind, folks, I always have to preface this. And just for the record, and I know she's watching right now, I got a little bit on Miss Autumn here. Because I wanted to do the movie review starting this summer and stuff like that. Then she went out and changed jobs and is no longer a teacher, moved into the corporate world again and stuff like that, which is great for her. Except it ruined this movie review show that I want to get going on. Yeah, it ruined it. So I got on her. I said, you need to decide what we want to do on this. Let's get it done. It's coming, folks. I promise you. It's coming. It'll be a fun little short show reviewing movies and TV shows and stuff like that. But Ann says, how is Spider-Man? Okay. I am not a Marvel fan in the least. Spider-Man is one of my least liked individual characters in the Spider-World. Spider-Man is a character where he's a teenager, right? And he makes his quirky little comments as he's flying through the air with the web things and stuff to that effect. And I've just never enjoyed it. I've just never have. I enjoyed the last one where they brought back all the Spideys in the multiverse. That one to me was fun. But it was also partly fun because they brought them all back, and that was like a fun moment in the movie and stuff to that effect. Absolutely. Like I'm a Batman guy, but only certain Batmans. Just to give you an example of my mindset. And I have to set this up like this for a reason. Michael Keaton Batman, little cartoonish for me, but I enjoyed it because it was less cartoony. George Clooney, those Batmans, way too cartoonish for me. I didn't like them at all. Christopher Bale Batman, can't get enough of. Christopher Nolan. Christian Bale Batman is the best thing you've seen in a comic book movie type iteration. 100%. 100%. I enjoyed Supergirl. I enjoyed the last Superman as well, but it's not something I'd be like, you have to go see this. It was entertaining. Would I have gone on my own and watched it? No. I was, brought to it because of Ethan and Autumn and stuff like that. So I'm not a huge fan of these types of movies. Robert says, I thought it was highly enjoyable for someone that is not up to speed with the Marvel stuff. And Robert nailed it right there, folks. 2.5 hours long. Now, could it have been shorter? Yes. A little too sappy for me? Yes. Could have cut a lot of it out. But folks, I looked at my watch a couple times to see how much time was left during the sappy scenes. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I enjoyed the Punisher is one of my favorite characters, especially the way it's played right now. I love the Netflix series of it that's since gone away and things to that effect. Love it, 100%. The Punisher is a great character when done right, and it's being done right now. I enjoyed his character, even though it was dumbed down a little bit. It can only be so graphic in a Spider-Man movie. But I'll say this: Jean Grey's character was fantastic in this as well. I enjoyed it. It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing as a movie overall. The thing I realized watching this movie, though, crossed my mind during this movie. Robert, I got a response to your guys' tweets this weekend, by the way, and it's coming. Robert just chimed in. A guy that wouldn't watch her movie shouldn't blame Miss Autumn. Yeah, wait till you hear my response to what you guys were chatting about, because I was thrown under the bus unnecessarily in that conversation. But going back to Spider-Man here, enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed it. It was a fun movie. Too long. Could have cut 30 minutes out of it. Could have cut down the sappy scenes a little bit, to be honest with you, both in the middle and toward the end as well. But I thought it was great. What I realized during this movie, what I'm enjoying about the last Spider-Man with the multiverse, I don't remember the name of that Spider-Man movie. It was the one where Tobey Maguire's surprise came back, and the other British guy came back as well. What I realized is I'm enjoying these movies a little bit more because he's a more mature Spider-Man, right? Like he's now in his 20s. He's not that 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid flying through the movies and stuff like that. He's more mature. MJ's more mature. The friend, who I don't remember his name, the chubby guy, I don't remember his name. They're more mature characters now than they are just being little kids. And I'm enjoying this version of it a lot better as well. Ethan says Ned. I don't know. Is that the friend's name? The guy that went to MIT and stuff? Ned? Yeah, I don't even know his name. I don't even care to know his name. But I'm enjoying these Spider-Man movies. I am. They're entertaining. So even if, like Robert said, Robert's not up on all the Marvel stuff. He found it highly enjoyable. I'm not going to lie to you. So did I. Sappy stuff was kind of annoying. Could have cut some of that out. But it was a very enjoyable movie, Spider-Man. I'd recommend it. Even if you're not a comic book guy, it's a good, well put together movie. The good guys are good. The bad guy is really good. The bad guy you don't know is a bad guy is really good. Typical Marvel stuff out there as well. Stuff like that. Ethan said they needed the scenes to set up Doomsday and Secret War movie. Come on. Yeah, I know. That's the thing with it that I don't get. I don't care about. Because I don't care about the setup stuff. I just don't. I'll forget 90% of it before Doomsday comes out in December. I'll forget 90% of the setup. And I'll be watching it going, oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that vaguely. So I recommend Spider-Man. Like I said, take the perspective of somebody. Because sometimes with these comic book movies, I like it. Like I like Supergirl. It was a fantastic movie. It was fun. It was enjoyable. Loved the way the character was played. Loved it. But the diehard comic book people had problems with it. That's because they get all immersed in the weeds and they don't just take it for what it is and everything. They get, Loki played, not Loki, whoever that character on the bike was. I don't remember now. Lobo. Lobo didn't play the right character. They should have let him. And I'm like, okay, you guys are getting in the weeds, man. It was a good movie. Settle down, everybody. Well, this Supergirl said some things outside of. I don't care. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So sometimes my perspective, doesn't make sense to the people that get in the weeds with comic book stuff. As a movie, it was enjoyable. I recommend seeing. By the way, I think everybody saw Spider-Man too, because almost $1 billion in the first weekend. Crazy. Now, going back to what Robert said here, a guy that wouldn't watch her movie shouldn't blame Miss Autumn. You're talking about A Devil Wears Prada 2. And I wake up Sunday morning, head to the movie, and I see all these notifications on my social media where I'm being bashed because I refuse to see Devil Wears Prada 2. That's not how that conversation went. I'm gonna lay it out right here. I'm gonna lay it out right here, right now. Devil Wears Prada, the first one, had some really good moments in it. Now, I'm not a fashion guy. I think the Meryl Streep character is over the top, ridiculously stupid, and needs to get a humble pill in her because I think it's stupid that they're that snotty about clothes and stuff like that. I think it's ridiculously stupid. But I enjoyed the first one. Like the first one was pretty fun material. I was pretty sure the second one was going to be straight right trash. Straight up, just garbage. But I believe the second one was going to be, and everything. But I was like, I'm willing to see it. I'm just going to make fun of it the whole time. That was my exact wording when I said I'll go see it, but I want to do it. So I will watch it now that it's out on video. I will watch it. It's going to be stupid. I'm not going to enjoy it, but I'm going to watch it. I think it's going to be. I think it's predictable. We know how it's going to go. Blah 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 blah. I know, Robert. I know you saw it. I saw your comments on it. So we'll see. We'll see if we agree. That's going to put that on my list here coming up here as we get into football season to definitely check out. August is a huge month for movies, folks. It's almost like if you need me, I'm going to be at the movie theater coming up here every week. And there's some big movies coming our way here in August. It's going to be fun to deal with. So that's my Devil Loves Prada 2 story. I didn't refuse to watch it. Did not refuse it at all. Autumn says, not how the conversation went. I stand by my tweet. Well, you can make stuff up and lie all you want, Miss Autumn. We were sitting outside, that's stupid, and we were sitting outside. I forget what movie we were seeing, but I remember we were sitting outside with that dumb sheep movie with the dude from Wolverine in it when we had that conversation. Robert said, I had to see it because I'm still paying for dragging my wife to Uncut Gems. She hated that movie. Okay. What? Robert, how are you still married? Where are the divorce papers? Uncut Gems? That was a beautiful movie. That was a beautiful movie. I'm kidding, of course. Don't get divorced over a movie. I can understand why she hated Uncut Gems because it was different. And Adam Sandler in those roles is just way different. But that was an unbelievably put together movie, Uncut Gems. I loved it. Adam Sandler, I thought, was great in it. The basketball player that was in it was fantastic. And stuff like that. So, yeah. So I'm going to see Devil Wears Prada 2, even if I'm watching it by myself, eating Rocky Road ice cream on the couch by myself, me and my dog, me and Lily hanging out. I'll watch Devil Wears Prada 2. I'm going to watch it. And stuff like this. So Robert says, I'm in this for the long haul. She's smarter than me. He also wrote that because she's sitting next to him right now. Robert's not a dumb man. She's looking over his shoulder. Autumn says, Uncut Gems was a rough watch, but a good movie. Yeah, no, it wasn't your happy, smiley-go-lucky movie by any stretch of the imagination. But in terms of like an overall movie with its turnarounds and stuff like that, was amazing. Amazing to see. And to see Adam Sandler play that role, I thought so good was kind of a shock. When he's in the trunk, they get him out of the trunk. He's just like, oh, hey, everybody. You have to be kind of a sleazeball for that type of a role. And I thought he pulled it off pretty well. So there you go. Spider-Man, Devil Wears Prada 2 coming up as well. And things to that effect. And, we'll I'll keep the pressure on Autumn here to, figure out her schedule so we can do a movie review show that she wants to be a part of. Pressure's on. I need all of y'all to tweet at her and tell her movie review is more important than her job. Coming up is what we need. Oh, Lordy. If you missed the news, the top of the thing, Dale's off today. He had to take the day off. Some stuff he had to take care of today, unexpectedly take care of today. So hopefully we'll get him back for tomorrow. I'll check in with him later today as well. But I got you the whole show. Of course, we got IFL, NFL, Indoor Football League is what I mean by IFL. Major League Baseball trade deadline. We keep refreshing the screen here. I just told you guys last week. If the Diamondbacks make a move, the Diamondbacks are going to make a small move today by 3 p.m. It's not going to be a big move at all. The big bats are going, and the Diamondbacks obviously aren't in the conversation with those guys to get them here. So small moves, maybe a pitcher or two. Like John Gamador was out there over the weekend saying guys are being added to the taxi squad, which just means they're up, they're close to the team, but they're not actually on the roster yet. And you go on the taxi squad because that means when a move is made, you get put onto the roster and you're here already, right? Is all that means. I'll tell you this. I believe Paul Sewell's about to get DFA'd. I think that move's coming. And I think that move, I hate to say it, man, because he's had such an unbelievable start to the year. But you just can't have confidence with that man, who's a great human being, does all the charity work, seems like a great guy. Do not know him at all, but seems like a great guy and a guy you could root for. We've been rooting for him all season long with his success. And I said on Friday, man, put him in low leverage situations. Put him in when you have a blowout going on. They had a blowout on Saturday, 10-2 or whatever it was. He goes in there and all of a sudden it's 10-7. You can't have him in that lineup anymore. You can't pitch him anymore. Bring up a young guy. I do believe that move. Now, one reason why you sit on it, and yet you don't do it quicker, is simply because trade deadline's today. You're going to want to announce all of the moves. Maybe you can unload them. I doubt it. But maybe you could throw them in on a deal or something. But you want to announce all of your moves all at once today instead of several trades at the same time. Diamondbacks start a 4-game series against the Padres today here at home, 6:40 p.m. tonight. Harry Potter night tonight. So you can have all the people in their Harry Potter stuff tonight around the ballpark. This is a big game, 4-game series, and when we get to the NL wildcard, we'll talk about that because the Padres their offense has gotten hot, folks, just like the D-backs as well. D-backs have been the hottest team in the National League. They were going into Sunday's game. I want to say they were 14-5. So 14-6 after yesterday's game. Rough. I believe that's the stat. Don't quote me on the exact numbers there. I don't have it again in front of me. But Padres coming up here today. Trade deadline. Of course, big one with the Dodgers. Dodgers made that big trade for Skubal. We'll talk about coming up here. I told you guys last week, Skubal's going to the Dodgers. And it wasn't even for that much. What was it, 3 players? 4 players? I can't remember, 3 or 4. None of them going to the Major League roster for the Tigers. The Tigers gave up one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball and didn't get a Major League player in return. All prospects. These trades, if you had a fantasy league and that trade went down, that trade would be rejected by your league. But Major League Baseball allows those trades to happen. We'll talk the Skubal trade coming up as well here today. Brennan fought on the mound today as well tonight here at home out there. And before we take our break, just really quick, U.S. men's national team. We're talking football here as well. Mauricio Petticino, Argentinian man himself. He has decided to a new contract, keeping him as the U.S. men's national team head coach through 2030, which, of course, is the next World Cup time around. So he's here for the next World Cup run as well. Made him to the round of 16 this year, of course, and it's a lot of success out there. Hopefully you hope to improve on that success afterwards. I questioned if he wanted to be here. Maybe it was a negotiation tactic for him. But, they offered him a deal, and he was like, well, I need time to think about it. I was kind of thinking, maybe he doesn't want to be here. Maybe he's looking for another offer out there or something. But he does end up re-signing. That news is breaking now as well for the U.S. men's national team show. So, Ethan, tag me on this. I know I said $1 billion this week, and I know I was exaggerating. But Spider-Man Brand New Day, officially the biggest domestic box office opening weekend of all time. $360 million. Now, this is domestic. That beats Avengers Endgame out there. So, if $360 million was domestic, they matched that or better than that for international, probably with China gates and things to that effect as well. So, Something just absolutely astro. I mean, the movie theater is practically full at 8:30 in the morning. One reason why we go to the early showings on Sundays, like 10 a.m., time frame, 10:30, is because there's not a lot of people there on Sunday mornings. Theaters are generally like not as full. Things that packed yesterday for an 8:30 a.m. showing of Spider-Man yesterday there as well. They're over there in AMC Mesa Grand is where we saw it there in the Prime thing, which is like Dolby Digital and stuff like that. Just AMC coming out with their own wording and all of that stuff. So when we come back here, we'll keep it rolling. Let's keep it going with Diamondbacks and Major League Baseball talk. Set you up on trade deadline today. Keep our eyes on that throughout the show as well. And we got to talk this unwritten rules, folks. Get in depth on that. Come on back, folks. The main event Monday. Robert, on the YouTube chat out there. Of course, don't forget the text line 623-252-6670. As well as you can hit us up on, oh my gosh, I got 1,000 screens happening here as well. Of course, you can also hit us up on X, TME Sports Show, whether you're watching us live here on YouTube, of course, on demand on YouTube or Rumble later on in the day, or on the favorite podcast systems. We greatly appreciate you joining us. It's rumble.com/user/TME Media, where you can also catch The Real Matrix with the Angry Patriot. Every Friday at noon, new episode comes out there. Then, of course, always you've got the free podcasting systems. If you want to just listen to the shows out there, you can hit up any of the ways to talk to us and communicate and join the conversation. However you're watching us out there, YouTube, Rumble, or on the podcast systems, or the other ways that we're out there in the universe for you to find us out there as well. I'm just getting caught up on the YouTube chats here as well, having some fun. And if you missed it earlier, Dale had to take today off. Everything's fine. Everybody's good. Just had some stuff around his house he had to take care of. So he asked to have today off to make it easier for him. And obviously, I'm a nice boss. Nicer than I should be. But he's out there. And Robert says, it is more important, meaning the movie show. And he said, I'm sure TME Media will double your pay. No, I didn't say double her pay. I'm not going to double it. But, we can match it or something. Be a worldwide hit. The movie show. Yeah, be a worldwide hit coming up as well. Robert says it is time to move on from Seawald. Can't have confidence in him. He said, can't have confidence in him when he doesn't have any confidence himself. That's the problem. He looks like a defeated man out there. Which, I mean, I hate to be right in this moment because, like I said, I've defended Seawald all year. What my fear was when he first started and came back. This is what he does with the Diamondbacks. Did it in 23, now doing it this year. A lot of success with the team. We've seen a lot of closers in the Diamondback system go through this move. And it's time. I think it's time. I do think you're going to see a DFA of Seawald coming up later on today, possibly as early as today. I just don't. You just can't keep. I'm hoping the Diamondbacks learn from the Pavin Gallen situation, the Pavin Smith and Zach Gallen situation. You can't let anchors continue to weigh you down. It affects everything out there. Even if it's a 10-2 ball game and you put Seawald out there, you're not just your fan base, but the team as a whole is going to have a negative reaction to him being out there. He's a great human being, but we talk, right? This is what we do here. We have to talk about the situation on the mound. We're not attacking him as a human. We're not attacking him as a person. Because I know a lot of people are like, you're just too mean on him. The guy can't not find the middle of the plate right now, throwing high 80s, low 90s. And that's batting practice, baseball. And you saw it right away on Saturday. That thing landed yet? That thing you threw in there? So Diamondbacks go and they win, 2 of 3 in Cleveland. A team. Now, they're not fighting for them for a playoff spot, but Cleveland is fighting for an AL playoff spot out there. And everything. So, they just went through 10 games roughly. Not roughly. 10 games. Against teams that are in their same boat, fighting for playoff spots out there, and all of that. They just went through that gauntlet. 6-4 is what they went. Win series against these playoff teams. So much so, and for the Cleveland Guardians, they're still in third place. They came into the weekend series in the third wild card spot. I should phrase it that way. There's still a game up on the Twins in that third playoff spot as well after this weekend for them coming up here. They just won Sunday game. They're 3-7 in their last 10, the Guardians are. And they're still in that third wild card spot. 4 games behind the Red Sox, who are hot right now as well. And a game above the Twins. So you went in and you took care of a team that one's been struggling, but 2 is in the playoff hunt, right? And they need to keep it up. Now you've got the Padres for 4 games this week. Then the Dodgers for 3 this weekend. Scooble's pitching on Tuesday, tomorrow. Do the math, folks. 5th day after Tuesday, you can see Scooble pitching Sunday here against the Diamondbacks. Possibility. Oof. All right. I'm like, all right. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a minute. All right, so you got the Padres for 4. Padres, throw up the NL wildcard standings for me as well that we're looking at. Diamondbacks right now are in that second playoff spot still. They're still tied with the Phillies. Phillies have made trades for the trade deadline here coming up. They made a couple of big ones as well. They're getting Arias there from the Giants. Big bat here, second baseman bat from the Giants. They're getting Rayleigh from the Mets as well. Phillies are making moves. And they're tied for the Diamondbacks in that third spot. Diamondbacks not making moves so far. It's kind of sitting there. Okay. You want to finish higher in the wild card standings than lower, obviously. Second place in the wild card is probably better than the first place in the wild card. I get that side of it. But I don't think, now Philly's scuffling, right? 3 of 7 in their last 10. They have scuffled all year. They're adding a big bat to their lineup with that trade with the Giants as well. They're adding another pitcher. So will that improve them? Possibly. But let's say whether it does or it doesn't, right? To me, the Diamondbacks are in a playoff hunt with the Phillies, the Padres. The Marlins, I think, will fall off. Anybody below the Marlins on this chart? The Pirates, Cardinals, Nationals, Reds, Giants, Mets, and Rockies are out of it. I think they're going to continue to falter a little bit as the second half of the season goes on. Marlins are one of those where it could falter or could stay up. Do they sell a little bit today? I don't think they are, which could keep the Marlins kind of on a positive trend here for the Marlins. Now, the Marlins are up and down. They'll lose 10 in a row, and then they'll win 15 in a row. It's an amazing thing the Marlins are doing this year. So you're in a battle here with the Phillies, the Padres, and maybe the Marlins here for a playoff spot for the rest of this year. You've got to beat these teams. You've got to. If you can win 3 out of 4 against the Padres, you're just putting a ton of distance between you. And you're putting pressure on the Phillies as well to keep winning. That's what you need to do against teams you're competing against in the playoffs. When you play them, beat them, and push them down. This is an interesting stat I was looking up this weekend for the Diamondbacks. They're still only 17-27 against teams above 500. Now, they haven't played a ton of teams above 500 lately, on their schedule. Cleveland's 57-56. They went above 500 again after yesterday's win. They didn't even count for the Diamondbacks for 3 of those games coming up here. It's just you've got to win in these series here against the teams you're competing against. And the Padres' offense is warmed up, man. They're hot right now as well. They've won 3 in a row, the Padres have. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Diamondbacks 6-4. This is a big matchup here. This matchup will either keep you in the catbird seat of the wild card or knock you outside looking in and then fighting again for those spots. And then you have to rely on the other teams to struggle. Philly's making moves right now as well, as we talked about. Huge series. Brennan Pfaadt on the mound tonight, 6:40 p.m. as well. Do the Diamondbacks make a move today? I mean, they're going to make moves. You might see 2 pitchers DFA'd later today, and then a couple young guys brought up in the bullpen. You possibly could see that coming up today. Are you going to see a trade, though? You're not going to get the big bats. I told you, if there's a trade, it's going to be a small trade. You're going to get a lefty in the bullpen, possibly. Somebody, unless you're a diehard baseball fan, most of you are going to go, who? That's who you're getting today at the Diamondbacks. If the Diamondbacks make a move. They're waiting the next couple of weeks to get J-Mart back. You know, Lawler got hit in the hand by a pitch over the weekend, but he seems to be all right from that. They're waiting for Lawler to come back for a bat. They're waiting for J-Mart to come back and the bullpen. They're going to rely on, and it's not because it got too expensive. The market's not too expensive for these people. They're just not. They're not able to work a deal. Now, I'm not saying they're not working. They're working for deals. They're not willing to make a deal. They have to give up guys to get their payroll down so they don't go into that next tax threshold that baseball has. And they're just having a hard time working out the deal. The Diamondbacks are not in a good place to make deals. They don't want to take on extra payroll. I'll even go farther and say they can't take on extra payroll because they're not going to go into that tax threshold coming up from there. So we'll keep our eyes on the trade deadline coming up. And folks, did you see this yesterday? First of all, Major League Baseball needs to come up with a standard on when a game is paused due to rain. Is it because waiting until the pitcher can't grip the ball anymore, like they did yesterday? When the field, the dirt infield, is a giant mud sled and there's puddles on it and there's water standing on it? Like, where's the standard of when to pause baseball games in the rain? Because they don't have one, folks. They're just letting it happen and all of this stuff out there. If you missed it yesterday, Diamondbacks Cleveland. You know, 6th inning comes along. I believe it's 6th inning. Starts raining, but first. That's my first complaint about Major League Baseball umpires. Pause the game earlier. Unless it's the 9th inning, you're like, let's squeeze out the last couple outs here and let's get out of here. We don't have to delay 90 minutes and come back. But 5th, 6th inning, dude, pause the game. Safety reasons. You don't need guys out there on that mud of the infield. And you'll see what I'm talking about in this video here. John Bowie put this together for us. And it's the broadcasting side out there. So pay attention as this clip goes on. Just look how muddy the outfield is when, I can't remember who it is, but the Diamondbacks guy ends up getting to third base. Just watch how muddy and how much water's on this field. It's ridiculous that they're even playing out there. When Williams, this ball comes out of Williams' hand and just goes anywhere it wants to because it slips out. But the bigger conversation we're about to have here is unwritten rules in baseball. I think unwritten rules are stupid. I do. Stealing a base when you're up 8 runs. Don't do it. Unwritten. Okay. Well, what's unwritten for you and not fair for you is, different for the other guys. But that's an unwritten rule. And that's fine. If you want to have unwritten rules, fine. But how you handle the unwritten rules, I think, is an absolute joke. Cleveland embarrassed themselves yesterday. A bunch of grown men cleared out onto the field after the umpires stopped this, pointing fingers and yelling because an unwritten rule in Cleveland's eye was broken in the 6th inning when Tim Tawa decided to bunt in the 6th inning to break up a perfect game. Then after the bunt, he gets the single. And Cleveland is so mad about it. What did they do about it, folks? They went out there and they stubbed their finger into the Diamondbacks' face. They were so upset they were yelling and screaming, but they were not manly enough to do anything about it. And that's what's stupid about the reaction to unwritten rules. I'm going to go out and give them a piece of my mind. Shut up and sit down, Odor. Nobody cares what you have to say. Sit down, Voight. Nobody cares what you have to say. All you're going to do is come out and yell at us? Shut up and sit down. It is stupid that grown men act this way. If they broke an unwritten rule in your eyes, figure it out how to solve it. Go out and start throwing punches if you want to. I don't recommend that. Throw at a guy next time. Hey, the perfect game's broken up. Hit their star player in the back. Be a man about it. Don't go out there with your wagging finger. I want to speak to your manager. I don't get it. You're grown freaking men and you look like 12-year-old girls or guys, boys. I don't mean to sing all girls there. You look like kids. Ah! How dare you? And nothing happens. Just a bunch of yelling and arguing. Do something about it if it bothers you. Otherwise, shut up and sit in the dugout. Clowns. Baseball players, man. I swear. All right, here's how it went down. John Boy, I'll talk over this while we're listening to it and stuff like that. It's kind of a long clip because they put it all together. Starts with a bunt from Tawa. From Tawa. That goes foul. Then it shows his base hit. Then, of course, the umpires call the game and put a pause on it. You'll see the wet infield. That's just ridiculous they're even playing on this field. It's ridiculous they're even playing on this field. Roll it, Ethan.
Yeah, he's throwing right around that.
There's the bunt. Look at the catcher. Look at this. He puts his arm. Look at the catcher.
He's trying to get out and get something rolling. Just try to win the game.
Literally gets the base hit. Perfect game broken up. 6th inning.
First base runner of the day for Arizona.
Look
at that rain. He has no control over that pitch on a 3-2 pitch. Look at that field. It is stupid. First of all, look at this grounds guy right here. Come on, kid. Get up over the top of that. Come on, boy. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to rock around. You guys go ahead. This is the stupidity I'm talking about.
There's a discussion here.
Oh.
This is, I think, Stephen Vogt and Torey Lovello having a conversation.
Look at this. I'm pointing my finger at you. I'm going to tell you how mad that unwritten rule is. How dare you, bum, right there. I'm going to show you how tough I'm going to have 3 people hold me back because I'm a man. I'm so angry about the unwritten rule. I'm a man. How dare you? I'm going to point at you. Even the umpire's laughing at him right there. I'm still pointing at you and tell you how stupid you are. Umpire's like, get out of here, clown.
Right there at home plate.
Look at this. Oh, dear, you're so tough. Oh, I bunted. Perfect game broken up. How dare you bunt? That was foul anyway. It didn't even do anything. It didn't even mean anything. Literally, it didn't break up the perfect play, the perfect game. It fouled it off. It didn't matter in the scheme of things. And grown men had to go out there and cry like little babies out there. Let me point my finger at you. If the unwritten rules, if they're broken, which I don't believe this was the case here, 6th inning, whatever. If the unwritten rules are that bad and you're that upset about it, do something about it. Because walking out there and pointing your finger and yelling and screaming and having to be held back by 4 grown men is not doing something about it. It's stupid. Grow up. Unwritten rules, you need to grow up with the reaction to them. It's stupid. Pretty opinionated on that take, in case you haven't noticed as well. Yeah. In terms of Seawald here, Ann says on our YouTube chat, people need to understand it's not an attack on him. He simply can't do his job. That's exactly right. Sometimes you have to look at people and say, you're just not the man for this job anymore, man. We got to let you go. It happens. Yeah. Ann says it's just like anyone else. If you can't do what you're being paid for, it's time to separate. Absolutely. It's not a knock on anybody. Personally, knock on what your job is out there as well. Robert says Dodgers have an off day on Thursday, so Scooble may be pushed back. Ooh, I didn't look into that. Okay, you're right. You're right. So we'll probably miss Scooble this weekend if I had to guess. I forgot. Even Diamondbacks have another off day on Thursday. So you're right. It won't be 5 days. But he also, has a weird pitching thing because of when he stopped pitching for the Tigers. And it's a whole thing. So maybe we won't see Scooble this week. Robert says Dodgers have. Oh, sorry. But there's the other side of it. Is he? I don't know. I know who Scooble is. I don't watch a lot of Tigers games, folks. I just don't. I know he's a great pitcher and all that stuff, but is he one of those pitchers that wants to go every 5 days to stay on rhythm, kind of like Corbin Burns, right? Or can he go off there? I don't know. We'll have to see. Robert says Ardur is a hothead. I remember when he popped Joey Bautista when they were face-to-face after a play at second. Yeah, it's fine. But Voit was out there, chiming it up with Torrey as well, mad about it as well. It's just, they're hotheads, but they don't do anything about it. I'm just going to yell and scream and point my finger at you because I'm a man. No, you're a child. You're a child. Yeah, that's what it is. Unwritten rules of baseball makes grown men act like little kids. Ridiculous. And that goes for any of that. I remember the Diamondbacks had somebody that bunted on them, and Bob Brenly lost his mind. That was later in the game, and stuff like that as well. So, I was looking it up, right? Because this was my problem with getting Luis Arias here from the Giants, because Bruce Cooper wanted him to come here to Arizona, and I told Bruce, I said the problem with him isn't that the Diamondbacks can't go get him. It's that there's probably going to be a bidding war for that guy with teams that have deeper pockets and stuff. But now it's being reported. Yahoo Sports is saying, because I want to know, right? Bringing him in from the Giants does the little lineup fielding issue here for the Phillies, right? If you know Bryce Harper on that team, and they say Bryce Harper is expected to move back to right field with second baseman Luis Arias joining that team as well. So you're going to see some, so that, that had to go through Bryce Harper as well, right? As we go on that side. Like, I know everybody's clamoring for the Diamondbacks to make a move. There's no doubt about it. Everybody's clamoring for a big move. The bats that you wanted are gone. The Yankees picked one up. The Phillies have now picked one up. They're not out there. If they make a move, it's going to be a small move for a relief pitcher. Supposed to make you feel better about yourself. They're not making a move, folks. I just got a feeling they're not making a move. A big move. They're not making a big move. Their move's going to be with some DFAs coming up. Their move's going to be bringing guys back. They've set it up for you, too, a week ago when they said, we're going to get all these guys back. That's what they set up for. But we'll keep our eyes on. Let me refresh the page here really quick as well. See if anything else has come through the line here. Like I said, I'm impressed with what the White Sox are doing right now as well. I told you, Blue Jays are going to unload a bunch of people. They got rid of Soriano as well here at Blue Jays. Got rid of Soriano. Went to the Angels, of all people. Yeah, Angels are picking up. Are you following what's happening over there in Los Angeles, Angels land? People are buying tickets to their games just to chant, sell the team for the owner. And now security and the old people ushers are walking around telling people they have to sit down or they're going to be escorted out, and they're kicking people out of the stadium and stuff like that because people are going in chanting, sell the team. Yeah, it's pretty fun to watch. I'm not going to lie to you. It's kind of fun to watch that happen to an Arizona grad out there as well. So we'll keep our eyes on that. The trade deadline, of course, here for the second hour of the show coming up. 3 p.m. our time, 6 p.m. national. And, I mean, are you going to be disappointed if the Diamondbacks don't make a move? I will not be, because I don't expect them to make a big move. Like I said, they'll make a small move, maybe. But their move's going to be DFAing and bringing guys back. Do the Diamondbacks, they need a lefty bat and a big bat. But those guys are going. They obviously aren't spending money on those guys or able to make a deal because those guys are going elsewhere. Cubs are making improvements. Freddie Peralta from the Mets. He's a right-hander. He's a rental player as well, but he went to the Tampa Bay Rays. Everybody's making these moves except for the Diamondbacks. I mean, even the Guardians made some moves. They're third place in the wild card. They sold, right, to the Brewers. I think on Saturday is when they did that. So I don't know. Are you going to be disappointed if the Diamondbacks don't get a move? Don't make a move. A big enough move out there is the question I got for you folks out there. Hit us up. Chat on TME Media AZ on YouTube, or of course, 623-252-6670 is our chat line. And Chad does come in here as well on the chat line, text line, and he said, yeah, I'll be disappointed. They need a big bat, and they never seem to ever go and get that position of player, is what they said. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Because of a money situation is why they don't do that out there. Hey, when we come back, we'll keep it rolling, keeping our eyes on the trade deadline all along here. We got to talk NFL, right? Over the weekend, the Cardinals. Look, yesterday was the last public practice. Yesterday was season ticket holder day. Last public practice until the red and white game coming up this weekend here for the Cardinals. Coming up here. So we're going to start going behind the wall, I guess you can say. Getting up ready for their season out there as well. So we'll talk Cardinals. LaFleur's press conference yesterday gave us some insight. Walter Nolan went out of practice on Friday. Seems to be okay. I'll give you that update as well. NCAA eligibility, IFL, Rattlers advancing over the Vegas Nighthawks yesterday. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Kelsey Plum, they're an interesting trade that the Mercury made yesterday. It tells me they have a long-term deal in line for her. They better. We'll tell you about that coming up as well. So coming back, folks. The main event, Monday edition. Second hour coming up next. And we're back here, main event. I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. And yes, folks, 17-year NFL veteran, 3-time Super Bowl champion for your Dallas Cowboys. He was so excited about SummerSlam over the weekend. He's off today as well. In all seriousness, some things came up that he needed to take care of around his house and his family and stuff like that. So I told him, just take today off. Take today off, get all that stuff settled. That stuff's more important than what we do here. So hopefully we'll get Dale back tomorrow as usual. From that perspective, I'll check in with him later on today after the show as well and see what the status is and how it's going with where he's at. As far as I know, everybody's okay. There's no problems like that. It's just needed a day off, and we're taking care of that for him. So Dale will be back at that point. Of course, talking trade deadline out there. Don't forget, live here on YouTube, TME Media AZ. As soon as we're done here, show gets put up on demand on YouTube as well. We've started splitting the show up into hour 1 and hour 2. You know, we got a lot of feedback from people saying, you know, they can't go back and watch all 2 hours at one time, whether the boss or whatever, you know, so they want to split it up. So we started posting hour 1, hour 2. So if you like that format, definitely keep while we're watching the numbers on YouTube and on Rumble. I got the hiccups, excuse me, out there. So we're watching those to figure out if that's just the way we move forward. Probably going to be instead of one big show. The reason why is all of our live shows do go up on YouTube as well. And of course, that'll be the full 2-hour show. So you already have it up there. So then we split it up to make it easier for people to find stuff. And then, of course, everything's live on Rumble as well, or on demand on Rumble is where you can find all of our program, including the pit stop. No racing last weekend at all. There was a point on Saturday where I looked up and I was like, when's the O'Reilly race today? And I was like, oh, they're off this weekend. Yeah, IndyCar and NASCAR all off. Now, IndyCar goes to Portland, I believe, this weekend. And then IndyCar is Iowa Speedway coming up this weekend. So we'll have a look-ahead show and news show coming up on Wednesday for you on the pit stop. Obviously, no look back since nothing happened last weekend around the sport out there. So pit stop coming up on Wednesday. It's on demand on YouTube and on Rumble as well. The Real Matrix, don't forget, the podcast version of The Real Matrix is through the roof here in terms of listenership with the Angry Patriot. Rumble, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. It's funny how, depending on the episode subject, is where it picks up or takes down here. Rumble.com/user/TME Media. Get those Rumble views up there as well for those of you that like The Real Matrix out there. Click on the channel button. It pops right up. All of our channels there. Check out the programming. It's just another extension for you to catch The Real Matrix as well as we talk about that right now as well. So, folks, as soon as we're done, I'll get it on demand. Let's get rolling. Share us with your friends as well. Check out the podcasts of all of our shows, except for the McCollum on Business. That's only a video format as of now. 623-252-6670 is the text line at TME Sports Show on X. Or just join us on the YouTube chat as well, folks. Get your opinions out there. And we see them, we talk about them for the most part out there. It's a lot of fun. If you want to stay anonymous, like I know a few of you do, hit up that text line, that 623-252-6670, because we don't out your personal phone number or anything to that effect. If you want to put a name to your number, you can just add it in there at the chat and, on the text line, and we can add it on there. But we also there's several people that text the text line that I know don't want it to be said, that it's attributed to them. So we still talk about it. We just don't say they said it out there moving forward as well. Robert says, Soriano was an Angel. He went to the Blue Jays. Oh, I had it backwards. Angels have been making moves out there as well. So Robert said, did I say it was a Blue Jay to the Angels? Did I say it backwards? I'm guessing so, since Robert's correcting it there. He says they need more money. They need money for more billboards. Yeah, the Angels. That's Artie Moreno there, Arizona grad. Artie Moreno, to me, he's a fantastic businessman. If you go to Angels Stadium, they have expensive food there. Like, they have a really nice restaurant down toward right field. Very expensive restaurant there. So if you want that type of stuff, it's there. But they sell cheap beers, cheap drinks, cheap hot dogs there. Their concession stands are cheap inside that stadium. And he spends money on his players. He just gets aging players that are past their prime and spends a ton of money on them, and they go nowhere. It's just he's terrible on the baseball field, good on the business side of things. And then he can't get a deal done for a new stadium, within the community. He wanted to sell it because his kids apparently didn't want the baseball thing. He ended up taking it off the market because he couldn't get what he wanted. It's the whole thing there with the Angels and things. And Artie Moreno is one of those owners where you're like, he gets the business side. He doesn't get the baseball side. That's how I would phrase a guy like him, of course, in the baseball world out there. Hey, let's start this off here, right? IFL playoffs. Rattlers go into Las Vegas. They lost the 2 games they played Las Vegas earlier this year. They were leading the first game. Coaches got into a little bit of a spat earlier in the game. And they lose that game. Then they go to New Jersey for that IFL Cup, play the Vegas Nighthawks in the championship game, had the lead. But I want to say 3-touchdown lead at one point in that game, late in that game. Turnovers started happening and everything, and boom, they lose that game. They get swept by the Vegas Nighthawks over the season. So they're the 3 seed. Vegas is the 2 seed. They have to go to Vegas this weekend and play the Nighthawks in Las Vegas. Rattlers go in and they play. I told you going into this series that the Rattlers defense is going to be the difference. They're going to command multiple turnovers on downs. So then it becomes the offense's ability to score and not turn the ball over in order for the Rattlers to win this game. Exactly how this game went. That defense was stifling against Jaden Delore, ex-University of Arizona Wildcat quarterback. He was out there dominating. That defense was dominant yesterday. Yes, you score a lot of points. It's IFL, so you got to take it the caveat there. And then the offense went up and down. I'll tell you this. Max Myler got the start. Max Myler played the whole game. Max Myler played really well for the Rattlers. There's some speculation on if they made a quarterback signing on Friday. We saw one person report it. Nobody else reported it. During warmups, he was there, warming up. They had 3 quarterbacks on the roster on Sunday. Yeah. Which made you wonder, what? Myler gets the start. Is he on a short leash? What's happening? Yeah. So he was on that team. The signing was real. No playing time for him, though. But the Rattlers go into Vegas yesterday and get the win. They beat the 2 seed Vegas. I told you on Friday, this game was even game. These team stats are fairly close. These are very equal teams. 2 years ago, the Rattlers won the championship. Vegas won it last year. 2 evenly matched teams. Similar coaches, similar coaching attitudes. I said I favor the Rattlers a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas wins it. It was kind of like a pick-em game for me, is what I said. That's exactly what it ended up being. Then you got San Diego, was at home in San Diego playing Tucson last night. San Diego goes through and beats Tucson. And so San Diego is the 1 seed. The Rattlers go to San Diego. San Diego's kind of a misnomer. They play up in Oceanside now. Roughly between the LA market and San Diego up there in Oceanside. But they play this weekend coming up here, San Diego. Rattlers are 1 game away. And the Rattlers are dangerous on the road in these playoff situations. They don't win championships at home. They win championships playing on the road, folks. Just, a month ago, Rattlers went into San Diego. They were the first team to beat San Diego in that new arena. They played there last year and then this year, of course. Rattlers were the only team to have beaten San Diego in that building, and that was like a month ago. This is going to be another battle of a tournament game coming up this weekend. Last year, if you remember, first round of the playoffs here in Glendale, controversial calls by the referees, but the San Diego escaped the game here against the Rattlers in the first round of the playoffs last year and won that one. Arizona swept San Diego this year, beat them first game of the season and beat them, like I said, roughly a month ago. It was July 4th weekend, so it was July 6th, Monday nights when they played them in San Diego and beat them. Rattlers beat the San Diego. There's going to be another epic game coming up this weekend, and it's on Sunday coming up again for your Rattlers. They're 1 win away from the championship game that's being played down in Tucson here as well. And they got a real shot at it here, folks, against San Diego. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's going to be fantastic to see the way the defense is playing. What kind of confuses me a little bit, is signing their quarterback from the last couple of years and having him out there warming up yesterday and all that. I don't understand that move. We'll have to see where it's going. I don't know if you want to rock this boat going into this weekend. Maybe it was just an insurance signing, protect against an injury or something to that effect, moving forward as well. But let's throw up the IFL bracket for me here, if we could, Ethan. Green Bay won over the weekend. It was, of course, the 1 seed in the East. They beat Orlando. And then the Tulsa Oilers, the 3 seed, well, they beat the 2 seed, the Jacksonville Sharks. So apparently being the 2 seed this year is not the seed you want to be out there, folks, because you lose. Both games are on Sunday coming up this week. First game, the Blizzard and Oilers out there in the East playing from Green Bay. Green Bay finished second last year. Max Myler, the Rattlers quarterback, was the quarterback of Green Bay Blizzard last year and got him to within like inches of winning a championship there. He went down at like the 1 inch line at the end of that game to allow Vegas to win the championship over Green Bay. They play Saturday, 1 p.m. our time out here on the West Coast, 4 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. All these games are on Yahoo Sports for free out there. You just got to have it on your computer or on your phone. Then the Rattlers play San Diego Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, which, of course, would be 4:30 for us out here in the East Coast. In the West Coast as well. This is going to be a fantastic battle here for the Rattlers in San Diego to see who goes to the championship game down there in Tucson here coming up as well. Championship game is the following Sunday, the 16th, 4:30 p.m. our time out here in the West Coast. So can the Rattlers do it is the question. Folks, they got a really good chance here to upset the number 1 seed San Diego. Their defense is good. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying they have a shot to do it as of now. We'll talk more Rattlers as it goes on. Their defense is just stifling right now. I don't know how they ended up the regular season. I should have looked it up. I'll look it up for later in the week. But they were one of the best defense in the leagues. If they weren't number 1, they're definitely top 2 or 3 in the league, the Rattlers, going into this. That's how you can beat a team like San Diego with really good defense, with Nate Davis and that stud of a quarterback that San Diego does have out there as well for them. So that's your Indoor Football League update here with our local team as well. One thing, a couple other things before we get into NFL talk here to wrap up the rest of the show is Mercury made a big trade. Speaking of the Diamondbacks not making anything happen this weekend, well, the Mercury certainly did. And this is a fascinating trade here for the Mercury for 2 reasons. One, it's not every day you can go and get a 5-time All-Star and one of the best players in the league. Kelsey Plum is being traded from Los Angeles to Arizona. She was with the Aces for their championship run. She went to Los Angeles, now coming to Phoenix here as well. And you go, well, Kelsey Plum's older. She's getting older, to go more closer to the end of her career than the beginning of his career. You could say all of that stuff out there. You can. But she has a 23.9 points per game this year. This season, she's averaging that. The highest scoring average ever by a player traded during a WNBA season. Teams don't unload players like Kelsey Plum in the middle of the season. They can make the move because of payroll and not wanting to pay it and stuff after the season. During the season, they don't like to do that. Now, Plum's been injured, and things to that effect. And like I said, she's closer to the end of her career. But she's coming here with Kalia Copper and a couple other Mercury players that she's played with on the USA team and things to that effect. So she's coming around teammates that she gets along with and knows as well. So it's fantastic that the Mercury went and got her. Mercury struggled. Now there's only, I believe, like 14 games left in the WNBA season. Season's almost over. So it's, the Mercury just haven't been good this year by any stretch of the imagination. Kelsey Plum's contract expires this year. So she's a rental. But she's a rental for a team That's 11th in the division right now. 11 out of 15 teams. They're 11-19 on the season, the Mercury are. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Last year, they made it to the finals. This year, a little bit of a struggle out there. You don't make this trade for a team that's 11-19, going to miss the playoffs, struggling all year long type of a situation. They're 5-10 at home, by the way, folks. You don't make a trade for a rental player like this unless you want the expiring contract. But how does this trade help you? Unless you've got a deal to re-sign her and she's staying here. She lives in the LA area. She's always played for Vegas, LA, or possibly Phoenix now moving forward after this season. So she's close to where she wants to live there in LA. The Mercury would have no problem signing her for the contract amounts that she wants and stuff to that. It's interesting. If the Mercury don't have a deal to re-sign her on its expiring deal, what are you doing? Getting an expiring contract? And it's not like they gave up a big number contract to get her. You know, the first round draft pick this year and a couple other draft picks. You gave up a lot for an expiring contract for her. I'm assuming the Mercury have already got the layout and stuff to re-sign her going forward. I'm assuming that's in the books. We'll just have to wait and see from that side. But they went out for the remaining few games here and everything. They went out and they got a 5-time All-Star. Those players don't, and no matter what league you're in. Now, does it work out better than the Kevin Durant trade did for the Suns? You hope so. You absolutely hope so. Because if not, you know. I'm looking up here really quick here to see. I don't know if it has. Let me see if I can find this. So they Mercury traded Monique Akoa Makani. That was they given up a 2027 first round pick and a 2028 second rounder. Specifically. She's wearing number 0, by the way, when she gets here as well. She was wearing number 10 with the Sparks. The difference is you gave up a lot, so they're going to re-sign her. I have a feeling. So anyway, Mercury making a big move, making a splash, if you will, in the WNBA universe. The other thing I want to just say, because we don't really get into politics, I don't care for politics on this show. I like politics in my private life and dealing with it and watching it. I just can't get enough of people expression and how, politicians work and stuff like that. It's amazing how you can sell your soul and stuff like that. But I digress on that. The WNBA, with all the shenanigans going on with everything but basketball, it's just a turnoff, isn't it? Coach yesterday against Indiana has to wear trans kids matter shirts. And ESPN spends 20 minutes during the game, 10 minutes, 15 minutes during the game, talking about the shirt and what it means and all that stuff. They always talk about, Caitlin Clark, and, we always have to watch her, get choked and fouled beyond belief there on the court, where it's not basketball anymore. We have to see all of this outside influence around the WNBA on stuff we just don't care about. It's not about basketball. The WNBA, which you're talking to, and I'm talking about myself here. The WNBA isn't something that I sit down and go, these two teams are playing tonight. I've got to watch this game. I don't do that with the WNBA. But what I will do during the summer is I'll have it on. Nothing else is on. Oh, there's a game on ESPN. I'll just turn it on and have it on in the background, pay attention to it. I'm tired of doing that at this point. I don't want to watch a game that have all these political stuff happening, all this political conversation. I just don't care about that stuff during a game. And the WNBA is turning off the casual fans. You'll always have your dieharders there, but diehards don't pay all the bills. This league's killing itself, man, and they just don't care. They can't stay out of their own way. They can't. It's frustrating. It's hard to watch, and it's terrible. Literally had the game on yesterday between, was it Saturday? It was yesterday. Between the movie and then waiting for SummerSlam to start, waiting for the Rattlers game to start, they had the Lynx game on. Literally listening to a diatribe on a political matter. That, you know what? Believe what you're going to believe on that side. I'm not telling you how to think on that at all. But I'm not watching this game for that stuff. I'm not. If I want to have those conversations and pay attention to that stuff, I'll turn on a different channel to watch. It's just they're killing themselves. And they don't care. So why do we care, I guess, is the bigger question there as well. So anyway, my little side note on the WNBA right now as well. But Kelsey Plum coming to the Valley. Look at that. Another big trade, and that's an Ishbia team, so hopefully they learned a lesson from the Kevin Durant trade here to get into that part. Hopefully. Hey, college of sports. The NCAA, just every time they go to court, they get their butts kicked. They lose everything out there. It's not even funny what they lose. It's terrible. Like, why? I don't even know why they go to court. They should just settle before they get to that point. By the way, before we get into this here, I just want to get you updated. I'm just refreshing on the MLB trade deadline, and we'll do it again before the end of the show. I'm not expecting Diamondbacks to do anything major. Maybe a few small pickups, but nothing major. Their major moves are going to be DFAing guys like Sewald, maybe Thompson, and then bringing up some young guys, and then getting some guys back over the next few weeks. So much so, Steve Gilbert on MLB.com, and this is yesterday's article here, talking about what teams are going to do here with the trade deadline coming up later. He said the Diamondbacks are going to buy, but it'll likely not be splashy moves. It's all because of that budget, right? The team is getting closer to the first luxury tax threshold. They will not go over that as well. So they'll make some small moves, add a little bit to it, but that's it. And Steve Gilbert said that as well. So I just want to give you the update as of right now as well for that. So the NCAA. If you missed the news on Friday, a judge came out of Colorado, and a judge granted the right to play another year of college sports to some athletes out there. Anybody in the high school class of 2022 now gets a year of eligibility, because the eligibility ran out last year, and this judge issued a new order, made an order on Friday saying that those kids are eligible to play now. That's why you saw guys like a Pig Johnson, who played at ASU last year. You saw he's in the transfer portal. That's why you saw guys like Ghost, the ASU there, Rouser, right? He graduated last year, ineligible to play anymore. Wasn't drafted by anybody, and just sitting, looking to come back and play some college football again this year. That happened on Friday. 2022 class gets an extra year now. Now that James Judge came out yesterday and clarified that order a little bit more as well. So the ruling does not include football players who signed pro contracts. So if you were drafted or signed an undrafted free agency contract for an NFL team, sorry, I'm falling out of my chair here, folks. You're not able to come back. If you're playing in the CFL, you're not able to come back. But if you weren't drafted, you weren't signed by anybody, you're just sitting at home right now, eligibility is there as well. So the NCAA requested a clarity order from the judge on a Friday ruling for that 5th year of eligibility. So no other rules changed. It's just she's granting a year of eligibility for kids in 2022 is what she's doing. So in order to transfer, one of the rulings was you can't come in and transfer because no other NCAA rules are affected. So unless you were in the transfer portal, when the transfer portal was open, only way you can come back and play, whether it be basketball or football, is you have to stay on your team. You can't go anywhere else because they can't open a new transfer portal. No other rules were affected by this as well. By the way, this affects a chance for hundreds of kids that could go back to college and play another year of football or basketball as well. Like I said, no NFL draftees, no CFL draftees, for instance, out there coming up. No kid that's summer, has a contract with an NBA team or a foreign professional league team can come back for basketball side and that stuff as well. So, though that is the changes that she made yesterday as well. Baseball doesn't start for a while, so you have a little bit more time. These football players are more rushed, right? Because if you didn't enter the transfer portal, which why would you? Your eligibility's up. I know a few people did, just in case, but a lot didn't. So, like if Ghost, Rouser, let's call him Ghost, but Rouser, if he comes back to play, he's got to play for ASU this year. The side effect of that is there's a kid on an ASU team that, been working his butt off to start this year. Well, if Ghost can come back, Rouser can come back to this team, that kid gets punched down a little bit. What does that do, right, moving forward and stuff to that effect is kind of the question we're dealing with here as well. So lots of unknown. Now, football is the rush one. Basketball is practicing as well. So in order, like for a couple of the ASU guys that could come back, how do they fit in with the new coaching staff? Is there a spot for him on this team? Does somebody else get bumped because of it? There's a lot of questions here. Baseball's a different story because that's, doesn't start playing until, end of the year, beginning of next year type of a situation. So eligibility's out there for 2022 kids, at least several hundred of them out there, but there's a lot of details to be worked out as well with the teams if they are going to come back and play another season coming forward. But it's just like the NCAA just constantly just makes your head hurt, man. Every time they go to court, there's new rulings coming out, and they keep saying, we need congressional, intervention here to save the sport and all this stuff. Oh, they make my head hurt, man. When we come back here, the main event, of course, we're going to talk some NFL football, let you know what happened around the Cardinals this weekend. An injury popped up. He seems to be okay. I'll tell you about LaFleur's press conference yesterday. Yesterday, the press conference was before practice began, and practice was in front of the season ticket holders. Yes, I did see not a big crowd yesterday. Yeah, season ticket holders have lost their mojo for this team as well, folks. Not a shocker from that perspective. This is the one where with my 4 tickets, they said I'd be lucky to bring a guest. It's like whatever. Guys keep restricting stuff. I just don't care anymore from that perspective, right? Uncle Lou's Sneak Peek podcast is out, folks, as well for the week. Which we got a UFC number this morning. UFC Las Vegas 120 from the Apex this weekend. I do see his Sneak Peek is out. I'm retweeting that right now for those of you that listen to that. And folks, come on back. We got NFL talk coming your way. Coming up next. And we're back here. Main events here on this Monday, and I'm your humble host, Stephen McCollum. I just got the alert right now during that break. Cleveland made a move for Adele to join their team, not the singer, to join their team here in a trade also. So everybody's making moves around the dime. Now, I know that's American League. I get that. I fully get that. But everybody in the playoff hunt, yeah, Guardians get Joe Adele in the trade with the Angels. Just breaking right now per sources is what I'm told right now as well. So there we go, folks. Another trade, not named the Arizona Diamondbacks, but Adele Hellestrae is off today. Needed the day off to handle some stuff around his house and things. Hopefully be back tomorrow. I'll check in with him later. But he asked me for the day off. I said, you know what? You always call me a slave driver. I'll give you the day off regardless. So that's what I'll do for you, senor. What I said to him. Yeah. Robert says a couple decent bats just moved. Ward from the Orioles and Adele from the Angels. He goes, none to the D-backs. This is my point. These Ward and Adele are guys you can go get. And they're not getting them. Diamondbacks aren't making a big move. They're gonna end up with a reliever. Something like that later on in the day. That's all that's gonna happen. Let me see if it says here. Like I said, this just broke during that break here. Let me see if it says. Okay, Cleveland's giving up catcher Jacob Cozart. That's all I see in the deal so far. There's going to be more than that. Yeah. And Jeff is right. He's not a free agent until the end of next year. Adele, I don't believe. That's why I was reading the Angels were pretty sure he was going to be gone because you still control him a little bit out there as well. So, I mean, just another example of the Diamondbacks just sitting back. What they do best. Let's face it. It's what they do best. They sit back. Maybe a scrap heap type player here coming up later on today, but we have till 3 p.m. Phoenix time coming up for your Major League Baseball trade deadline. I'll just tell you, I mean, I said this before the All-Star break, and then all of a sudden they start doing stuff to fight for the jobs. Like, fight for your job. Show you want improvement. Show you want to do something. Show you're trying to improve this team. And what they do, they DFA'd Pavin Smith. Zach Gallen was moved to the injured list. Right? 2 underperformers, and boom, they start winning. They showed some fight at that moment. Paul Sewald, they move out of the closer role. If I was a betting man, I would put a whole lot of money that Sewald's getting DFA'd later on today. And they're bringing up some young kids. If they may be with Ryan Thompson. I'm not as confident with him as I am with Sewald. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right on either of them. But, so they're showing some fight. But if that's all the Angels got for Joe Adele, and you can't compete for that for a big bat, I know he's an outfielder. I get it. But for a big bat, I don't know what we're doing. Show the fight. That's all we're asking. That's all I'm asking. I just got an update here. MajorLeagueBaseball.com just put an update out on what they're hearing right now on a bunch of guys. I was reading that the Rangers are putting Jacob deGrom on the thing. Obviously, the Diamondbacks aren't going to get them, but the Rangers, MajorLeagueBaseball.com is pretty much saying that none of the players on the Rangers are off limits right now. Yeah. So Rangers they can lose their whole starting lineup, which you can go get Corey Seager. Obviously, they don't need a shortstop, the Diamondbacks. But Gore, who's that? Eovaldi, Jacob deGrom, starting pitcher for the Rangers as well. I'm forgetting the last guy. All available, reportedly. Yeah. But then the Rangers also look like they're going to trade Jock Peterson, right? You bring him back, big hitter for DH. He's a designated hitter there for the Rangers. You need a DHer. Or do you need a DHer here for the Diamondbacks out there as well, right? That you're looking at. I'm just flipping through here really quick here to see what the rumors are around the Diamondbacks, because this is an updated article here. So give me a minute here. I know I'm doing production stuff on air, which isn't the best. So no new rumors or anything on the Diamondbacks as of right now. What the national guys and people that follow this stuff closely, nobody's got any updates on what the Diamondbacks are going to do. We're still stuck with the Steve Gilberts and everybody saying they're going to buy, but it'll be a small wrinkle is what they're going to do. So looks like it's in line. We'll see if they surprise us later on in the day. Of course, for the Cardinals, we're here, right? Hall of Fame a week here. Hall of Fame football. The starting preseason game starting for your Arizona Cardinals this week out there. Thursday night. Hey, really quick. I pulled it up during the break. I hate to go back to this, but the movie thing. Spider-Man, I told you, $360 million US over the weekend. Huge movie in terms of opening. Biggest domestic box office opening since Avengers Endgame. Internationally, 927 million box office. Second biggest opening weekend in history in terms of the national or international box market out there as well. So, whew. Almost $1 billion. I was joking when I said $1 billion earlier. Internationally, 927 million worldwide ticket sales. Ooh, that was without any IMAX. This weekend, some IMAX films are going to be switching out of the Odyssey into Spider-Man, which means increased ticket prices and stuff like that as well. Coming up there, yeah. Woo! Yeah. By the way, Australia, it was the biggest opening weekend of 2026. It made 30.4 million in Australia also here as well. That's a big number. China led the international markets with $121 million in ticket sales. Doesn't shock me at all. China does it from that side. So there you go. Little update there on Spider-Man, $1 billion perspective. This is what you get here on this program. And I jump around when I'm looking for updates on things like trade deadline stuff for baseball and all of that. So just Major League Baseball, it's just stuff left and right out there. Let's see. Oh, Jacob Latz. It was that other pitcher. Did I say it? It was the pitcher I was forgetting with the Rangers as well. So the Rangers are only 1.5 games back of a playoff spot, and they're saying they're prepared to sell everybody, including the kitchen sink and all the pitchers on it out there. Let's get into some fun talk here with your Arizona Cardinals. Thursday night, Hall of Fame game. We don't know who's playing yet, right? We don't know who's going to start. We don't know who's going to get playing time. We know all the bench guys, and meaning farther down the bench are going to get playing time during this game. But in terms of, you won't see any projected starters playing this weekend. Will you see a Love in this game? I don't think so. Will you see a Marvin Harrison Jr.? I don't think so. But you're going to see guys down that line get substantial playing time, and you're probably going to see Carson Beck get the start and roll out this weekend as well. Maybe a Gardner Minshew get some playing time this weekend, but you won't see Brissett out there at all first and stuff like that. So interesting enough in terms of over the weekend. Yesterday was the season ticket holder day out there, and you're pretty much done with public viewing and practice until this weekend's red-white game coming up this weekend. Walter Nolan on Friday, right? He's got a history of injuries there in his knee in his short career. Hobbles off of practice on Friday. I tried to find out what happened. Nobody really saw the injury happen. They just saw him walking gingerly off. Came back onto the field a little bit later. Was talking with everybody, but didn't practice anymore. Mike LaFleur goes to the podium on Sunday's press conference, which was before practice yesterday. And he said Walter Nolan is good. and he's going to be practicing, and he meant yesterday, was going to be practicing yesterday. Man, that knee scares you a little bit, man, when you see him walking off and stuff to that effect. Joey Blunt was held out of practice yesterday as well from that stuff. The exact quote from LaFleur yesterday in the press conference I found funny when I was watching it. He goes, I haven't been on a good team that hasn't had a good defensive line. No, he's not wrong there, that's for sure. And Walter Nolan, man, he's explosive. Been watching him all training camp. Explosive. Just, he's got to get healthy, and that knee is worrisome. If he's having these knee problems in year one, training camp of this year, folks, that knee problem isn't going to get easier as he ages and takes the hits out there. That's the worrisome thing on Walter Nolan. It's not going to get easier. LaFleur yesterday said he will hold off on saying who will play on Thursday in that Hall of Fame game. He wants guys to focus on one practice at a time. He believes early game will be an advantage, meaning the Hall of Fame game, give them an advantage on the season. And he says, in terms of playing time, he was asked about that. He said, it'll never be my plan, is what he said, quote. And then he says, it will be a collective effort, meaning he's not going to restrict guys. He's just going to go out there and see what happens, and stuff to that effect. Be kind of loosey-goosey. I am a little worried that Mike LaFleur is going to go with the Cliff Kingsbury style of coaching. And what I mean by that is being a player's coach. You need to be a player's coach, but you also need to be my way, and this is how we do things here. I do like what LaFleur is saying in the press conferences. I do like his style there, but on the field, I don't know if he's not being too loose on these guys. But this camp is really relaxed out there. Yeah. He also said the team will be practicing on Wednesday. That's the travel day to go to Cleveland for the Hall of Fame game. Or I'm sorry, Ohio for the Hall of Fame game out there. I was thinking Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there for a moment. So he says they will be practicing Wednesday before they travel. And then they'll go get on the plane and head out for the Hall of Fame game as well. So he does like the competition between Denzel Burke and Max Melton. He says that's been good, was his phrase there. He said guys thrive on competition and said multiple guys can earn that role. This is what I like about LaFleur's press conferences. He's making these guys compete out there. And, I believe even if like you're Budda Baker and you're going to be the starting safety of this Cardinals team, you got to have somebody behind him that's going to push him. I firmly believe in that. You need competition. Guys at this level thrive off that competition. And if they don't, you don't want them on your team, right? So I do like how he talks about that. But then he used a couple other phrases out there as well. He was asked specifically like what the Cardinals team does well so far in his early camp tenure. This is what he said, quote, I think they come to work. They're focused on day to day. That was his quote. He said there's a lot of urgency on this team. He likes that. He likes how they approach every day they're out of practice. So he's saying those types of things, which you like to hear. I told you guys one of the reasons why I took the Cardinals at over 3.5 in terms of wins this year is because I don't think this Cardinals team, with first-year head coach Mike LaFleur, I don't think they're going to quit on the season like they did with Gannon last year and Kingsbury before that. Not in year one with Mike LaFleur. This is telling me this team doesn't want to quit. Or even the coaches commenting and no, it's training camp. You say positive things, right? But if they weren't doing it, you'd hear about it, you'd know about it, and they are doing it. They're competing out there on the field. I don't think this team's going to quit. And that last part of the season after the bye, I know it's late, and they could be 1 and whatever or 2 and whatever, right? And want to mail it in. I don't think this team's going to quit. So you got wins against the Jets, Raiders that you can sneak up to get over that 3.5 win total. It's not going to make your fan base happy because you guys all want the number 1 pick. That's why I went over, is what I'm seeing in camp. And then Mike LaFleur is kind of putting some weight behind what I'm seeing in camp. This team wants to fight. This team is being challenged. This team's not going to be a team to quit on this coach and this staff this year. We'll have to see where we go after this year as well, right? Then he was asked about some few injuries, right? You have Tip Ryman, who's coming back from that horrific injury last year that happened at home on that grass. Josh Sweat still on the PUP list, right? What's up with him? Oh, we finally get some word on as well. And Garrett Williams, obviously, not playing right now as well. He did say on Garrett Williams, he said, Garrett Williams, they're expecting him. He's on trajectory to get off that PUP list before week one, coming up to week one. That'd be a huge addition to that secondary if he comes back for week one for Williams out there as well. So regular season week one, really good about Williams. Now, he said on Josh Sweat, quote, continuing to build, unquote, is what he said there. What's wrong with Josh Sweat? Continue to build what? What's wrong with him? That's the question mark you got with Josh Sweat. Then you got the draft chart that came out over the weekend as well for the Cardinals. Now, I get it, folks. This is going to be hard to read on the screen. You know, Walter Nolan's fine, by the way. I told you that already. But this is going to be hard to read on your screen. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to throw it up anyway for you. Throw up that Cardinals depth chart. Obviously, a game on Thursday. So something to pay attention to. Not a shocker. Marvin Harrison Jr., the ex-receiver, first spot there. Not a shocker for you there. Jalen Brooks, they have as the number 2 spot for him as well. Paris Johnson Jr., Sayamalo, the left, the left side of the offensive line. Not a shocker that they're leading there. They have Josh Fryer and Hayden Connor in the second spot for them as well there. Obviously, Furholtz, your starting center. John Gaines, the third, I believe. Or is it the second? John Gaines, the second there, is his backup as well. Those aren't a surpriser. Isaiah Adams, yes, the Canadian Gun Chargers against him, is listed right now as the starting right guard here for your team. Chase Besantis, the draft pick, isn't listed second here. I'm not saying Besantis is going to overtake Adams for the starting role. But if anything happens to Adams, whether it be injury or court stuff, whatever, Besantis is going to get his chance. And I firmly believe Besantis is going to get in there and prove his worth there on that right side. Now, he's a rookie. It's going to be some question marks at time on that. But I do believe he's going to eventually take over that spot from Adams. And it's because Adams isn't going to be able to go for whatever reason. And Besantis is going to step up and kind of take over that role. I do think that'll happen this year as well. On the right tackle side, you got Wilkinson there. Jaden Williams is the second one there as well for the right side. Right side is more question marks on that line than the left. No shocker. Obviously, Trey McBride's over Elijah Higgins in terms of the depth chart there. Tip Ryman's still out with his injury. How long is he going to be out? It's kind of the question mark there. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Tip Ryman and what his status is going forward. Kendrick Bourne, I do believe he's going to win that third wide receiver spot. He's listed as number 1 there. Devin DuVernay there in the second spot. And then Xavier Weaver, third right now. Xavier Weaver, who did get some play last year, right? They kept throwing to him in those third and longs last year instead of their star receivers out there. Michael Wilson, obviously, is the other wide receiver out there. Simi Fehoko there in the second spot there behind Wilson for that starting role for that side of the receiver. Obviously, Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, Carson Beck, and then Slovis there in the quarterback side is the depth chart that they have there. Now, this isn't a shocker if you've been watching camp or been reading about camps out there for the running backs. Tyler Algier is the number 1 running back. I do believe he's going to start as the 1 running back. And it doesn't matter, folks, because Jeremiah Love is going to get as much touches or similar touches as Algier is throughout the season. This is a 1A, 1B situation in my eyes. Obviously, you've got to list it as 1 and 2. I saw some people kind of lose minds on it, but also Algier has had the ball with the starting once more than Love has. So it's not a shocker. It's a 1-2. But I believe this is a 1A, a 1-2. You look to the right there, you got Connor James in that third spot right now, and Trey Benson in the fourth. Trey Benson, nowhere to be found yesterday in terms of practice. I do think James Conner is going to be a change of down back as the third down back. Get healthy as an aging running back. He's going to be the third guy on this running back staff. And he's going to have some play this year as well. He's going to have some success this year coming in as the third running back for certain sets, things to that effect. I believe that's how the lineup's going to go. I do think Trey Benson is not going to be on this team afterwards, to be honest with you, at the end of training camp coming up here. But that's how they have the depth chart there as well. In terms of the defensive side, they have Roy Lopez as the nose tackle right now. Darius Robinson there, he's playing for a spot, folks. Robinson is health-wise and everything else. Behind him, you have Dante Stills in that second part of the depth chart, for Robinson. And Stills can win that job. You can switch that around, right? Then you got Billings and Roy Lopez battling out. Roy Lopez will make this team. It just isn't going to be the start of the second guy. Roy Lopez had a career number of sacks on Detroit last year when he played for Detroit. He had a good season on Detroit last year. To get that motor, that energy back, his family's from here, he's from here. We're going to get the best of Roy Lopez on this Cardinals team this year on that defensive line. Then Walter Nolan is listed as number 1. Not a shocker there. LJ Collier behind him. Then Jonah Williams there, a defensive tackle there in that third spot for the defensive tackles as well. Obviously, outside linebacker, Josh Sweat. They have him titled in there at 1, even though he's on the PUP list still. Josh Sweat, if he's your on this team, he's your starter in that position. Jordan Birch after him in that second spot as well. Cody Simon, outside linebacker. Owen Popo there for the inside linebacker. Then Mac Wilson Sr., who's going to be a starter, no doubt about that. Jack Gibbers on that side. The reason why I'm going through this is to just give you an idea of what this coaching staff is thinking. They have Zaven Collins at outside linebacker and Baron Browning. They're saying those are interchangeable. I agree with that. One of these guys is going to start. One of these guys is going to be the backup. They're going to get a lot of playing time, both of these guys coming up this year. Denzel Burke and Max Melton, they're battling it out. Either one of those guys can win that spot. They're both going to play a lot this year. Interchangeable in my eyes for those guys as well. Will Johnson over Kittel Clark, though, in the cornerback spot. I believe that's going to be the move at the end of training camp. Will Johnson will be your starter in the cornerback side. Kittel Clark will get a lot of playing time, depending on the health, of course, of Johnson. But I think Johnson in his second year, hard hitting, he's going to do a fantastic job there. I think he's going to win that spot. And don't forget, he's number 2 this year for him as well. Sean Murphy Bunting back into his role off of the injury last year. Then Andrew Wingard and Buda Baker there on the safety side of things for what we're looking at right now. My point in going through this exercise is it's long, it's boring. A lot of you probably tuned out on it and stuff like that. For a team that won 3 games last year, there's a surprising amount of positions that are taken, not the competition for them. And where there is a competition is deserving, and both of those guys can start. Usually when you win 3 games, new coaching staff comes in, you have a lot of question marks. And, we got these battles, and we got these battles, and these battles. Not the case. Most of these positions are solved. You know who's starting where. And the ones that are a true battle, it's 1A, 1B situation. This Cardinals team has talent. Do they have Seahawks talent? No. Do they have Niners talent? No. Do they have Rams talent? Oh, my God, not even close. This team has talent. Do they have the depth? Definitely not. Some of these positions are only too deep, and some would question if they're too deep. Isn't it amazing the depth chart comes out and you don't see a lot of battles for a team that's in the third place last year and the way they struggled? That amazes me on what we're seeing for the Cardinals going into this season as well with that depth chart. Expect to see a lot more battling out there, a lot more question marks from that side of things, from the Cardinals depth chart. 'Cause when you only win 3 games, man, you should have more battles. So that's your Cardinals updates. Of course, they'll practice today, practice tomorrow. He said they'll practice Wednesday morning, and then they'll travel out there to the Hall of Fame game there as well. The Pro Football Hall of Fame game is Thursday night. You know what? Let me look up what time. What time does that start? I know it's early for us here on the West Coast as well. 5 p.m. our time is when it kicks off. And the reason to watch Thursday night is one, your Cardinals are playing. But you're going to see Carson back. You're going to see some young guys that you want to pay attention to. The second half, it's guys that, Dale always yells at me for this comment, but the guys you don't really need to see. The thing I like about the Hall of Fame game, one, the Cardinals are playing in it. I want to pay attention to Carson Beck and see what he does in live performances on football. Now, granted, it's training. None of the Carolina Panthers starters are going to be playing and stuff to that effect. I get it. But if you look bad against these backups and backups to backups and backups to backups to backups, that's not a good sign, right? So you got to pay attention to that. So I'll be paying attention to what he does out there. But also, I love the interviews they do with the enshrined members. And obviously, Larry Fitzgerald's one of them as well. Don't forget, Larry Fitzgerald as being enshrined in the Hall of Fame. August 8th coming up here as well. You can roll out of bed and watch Larry, 9 a.m. our time as well. It's where you can see that Hall of Fame game or Hall of Fame enshrinement coming up on Saturday morning as well. Bruce Cooper, I challenged him last week. He'll be in tomorrow with us. I challenged him last week. I said, everybody's, Larry Fitzgerald's doing these interviews. I heard him on 98.7 last week, and I heard him on some other stuff. He's doing all these interviews. And everybody wants to talk about who was your best moment. Obviously, that big touchdown run in the Super Bowl to give them the lead with just a minute, 30 seconds left. They had the Super Bowl won at that point and everything. Larry's big run there. The big run during the Green Bay overtime game in the playoffs was a fantastic. People are all talking about Larry's things on the field, which is why he's in the Hall of Fame. I've heard the stories of what Larry's like off the field. I've heard all of his philanthropic things and just quietness away from the playing field. So I challenged Bruce Cooper last week to come in with a story to tell us about the man Larry. Not just that he buys a ton of water, for these water drives or buys a pallet of turkeys for the turkey drive with Bruce Cooper and stuff like that. That's fantastic work that he does. Let's hear about the man, Larry, that nobody else is talking about, because obviously the focus is on his football career. And Larry's number 2 in receiving yards all time, 17,492. He's behind one gentleman, and that's Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time. And he had some bad quarterbacks throwing him the football, and he's still at 17,492, second overtime. He had some bad quarterbacks, folks, throwing to him. Yeah. This is just going to be special and a little bit of pride, man. I saw Larry obviously play his whole career here in Arizona. I make fun of the way the crowd would cheer Larry after a routine 5-yard catch, and stuff to that effect. But just an unbelievable talent that we have, of course, here in Arizona. And then we get to see him get in. It's a time to be proud as an Arizona Cardinals fan, and Lord knows we don't have many chances to be proud if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan out there as well. Robert says on the YouTube chat as we wrap up with what you guys have to say, he said D-backs do need a left fielder if they back into the playoffs. Yeah. Kepler obviously can't play in the playoffs. Yeah. That's an interesting dilemma, right? I told you guys before, don't be shocked. Well, you're getting Gurriel back soon. Now, how healthy is he is the question, right? For that outfield spot. I told you guys, I got a bad feeling Kepler's out for the playoffs because of his suspension. He gets them into the playoffs and he sits out the playoffs. I have a bad feeling because Pavin Smith stayed with the team. You know, he did not get picked up and he was DFA'd, so he's down in Reno. I got a bad feeling about that. Yeah. I was talking about the Rangers and how they're unloading everybody. They're only 1.5 games out. I mean, Robert's right about this. They have been losing a lot lately. He said Rangers just got swept by the Astros and are going backwards. I get that. I get that side of it, but they're still 1.5 out, right? But they're obviously looking at their team and going, we don't have what's cut to get to the playoffs coming up as well. Let me just do a quick reset here. I'll be all over Twitter here for the rest of the day as well, looking at the trade deadline. As I said, I do not expect any big trades from the Diamondbacks today. I expect at least one DFA later on, maybe two, Ryan Thompson being the second one. Seawald, I do believe, is going to get DFA today. You're going to bring up a couple young guys into that spot for him, unless they can unload him for somebody, right? You can unload him for another arm out of the bullpen someplace else. If the Diamondbacks make a move, it's going to be for a small player. Maybe, a fielder with a decent-sized bat. Maybe an arm out of the bullpen. And that's it. That's all you're going to be looking at today. All the big bats that the Diamondbacks could compete for, they're not getting them. I don't even know what their effort is on there. But they're not getting them, so I expect more to continue. They're not going to go over that luxury tax deadline. They probably don't want to unload a lot of this young talent that they would have to trade to get that salary down, meaning you're going to have to unload some major league guys that aren't a ton of money in order to bring back a big number. That's why that's not going to happen. So we'll keep our eyes, but I mean, a Joe Waddell would have been great to bring in here, and the Guardians got him a little bit ago. I know Bruce Cooper wanted Reyes from the Giants. He's going to Phillies here as well. Not for a ton, man. Diamondbacks. Oof. All right. Diamondbacks will keep our eyes on it. Follow me at TME Sports Show as well. Hey, if a big move happens, maybe we'll go live or later on today on YouTube as well. So that's why I got to follow TME Media AZ on YouTube for any major live emergency press conferences that have to happen out there as well, or emergency show notes out there. Hey, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Hopefully we get Dale back tomorrow. I'll follow with him in a bit. He gets all the stuff he needs to do all done here as well. And we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Of course, 8 to 10 a.m. live here on YouTube. We'll see you then.